Why do women only respect a certain kind of man? Have you ever thought about it? Because let me tell you the harsh truth. Women don't respect men who beg for love. They don't respect men who bend themselves just to be liked. They don't respect men who live on approval. Respect is never given to the weak. Women might use weak men, they might manipulate them, they might keep them around when it's convenient, but deep inside, there's no respect. Respect belongs to the man who carries himself with authority, the man who doesn't chase validation, who doesn't live in desperation, who doesn't make his entire life revolve around a woman's attention. Women respect the man who has boundaries, who has standards, who looks her in the eye and makes her realize, I am not here to please you, I am here to live by my purpose. Listen carefully because this is where most men fail. Men think that by being nice, by saying yes to everything, by never disagreeing, they'll win respect. Wrong. That is exactly the reason they lose respect. A woman does not respect a man who cannot stand up for himself. She does not respect a man who apologizes just to avoid conflict, who is scared to lose her, who is terrified of rejection. That kind of man is invisible in her eyes. The man she respects, he's calm, but he's not a pushover. He's kind, but he's not desperate. He loves, but he doesn't beg. He gives, but he never gives up his self-worth. His life is not defined by whether she stays or she leaves. That man is a force, and that's why she looks at him differently. That's why she respects him. Because respect comes from strength, not weakness. Respect comes from discipline, not chaos. Respect comes from leadership, not following blindly. If you want women to respect you, you must first respect yourself. You must build yourself into the kind of man who doesn't need her, but chooses her. The kind of man who is so focused on his mission that she realizes losing him would be her loss, not his. Women respect men who know their value, who do not settle for disrespect, who can walk away without fear, who do not cry at every little rejection, who do not trade their dignity for affection. When you become that man, she feels something powerful, admiration. And admiration is the root of respect. ChatGPT said, when you watch the dynamics between men and women, you'll notice something very interesting. A woman may spend time with a man she doesn't respect, but she will never truly follow him. She will never trust his leadership. She will never admire his essence. Why? Because deep down she knows he doesn't have the backbone. She knows he's seeking something from her instead of offering something greater than her emotions. Direction, protection, stability, presence. A man without presence is a man without power, and a man without power cannot hold respect. Think about history. Think about leaders, warriors, thinkers, kings. Do you think they earned respect by being available 24/7, saying yes to everyone, softening themselves to avoid hurting feelings? No. They were respected because they had a mission, a vision, and the courage to stand firm even when people disagreed with them. That's the masculine core women instinctively admire, unshakable stability. When everything else is falling apart, he doesn't collapse. He doesn't beg. He doesn't lose control of his emotions. He remains grounded, calm, firm. That's when a woman looks at him and says, this man is different. And here's the brutal truth most men avoid. Women test men, not because they enjoy games, but because instinctively they want to know, can this man handle me, my emotions, my storms, my doubts? If you fail that test by getting emotional, by overreacting, by begging her to stop, by crumbling under pressure, she loses respect instantly. But if you stand firm, if you show that her storm does not move your foundation, then you pass. And with every passed test, her respect deepens. A woman only respects the man who earns her respect, not the one who demands it, not the one who cries for it, not the one who tries to buy it with gifts or attention. She respects the man who silently proves through his behavior that he is above being controlled. And that is why the kind of man women respect is rare, because it requires discipline, sacrifice, self control. Most men can't resist temptation. Most men can't stay consistent. Most men can't hold their frame when things get tough. But the man who can, he owns respect without even asking for it. Do you want to know why so many men complain, "She doesn't respect me"? It's because they've already shown her weakness. They've already given up their position by making her the center of their world instead of making their mission the center. Respect is not built in comfort. Respect is built in how you handle challenges, how you enforce boundaries, how you carry yourself when things don't go your way. Women respect men who have options, who are not desperate, who can walk away if they're not treated right. It's not arrogance, it's self-worth. If you don't show that you value yourself, how can you expect her to value you? If you don't have control over your own mind, your own body, your own life, why should she trust you with hers? Respect is a reflection of strength, and strength is not shown in how loud you talk. It's shown in how solid you stand. That's why you'll notice something fascinating. Even the most independent woman, the one who claims she doesn't need anyone, still deeply respects and craves the presence of a man who stands firm in himself. She may argue, she may push back, she may try to assert control, but when she sees he cannot be broken, when she sees his decisions are rooted in clarity, not fear, she softens. Respect is not always shown through words. Sometimes it's in her actions, in the way she listens when you speak, in the way she follows your lead without realizing it. But the men who lack that essence, they end up complaining about how women don't listen, how women walk all over them, how women disrespect them. Of course they do. Because when you show her, you'll bend over backwards for a little validation. When you give up your backbone just to keep her happy, when you become addicted to her approval, you've already traded your respect away. A woman cannot respect a man who does not respect himself. You see, the kind of man women respect doesn't need to scream for it, doesn't need to demand it. His presence speaks before he does. His discipline shows in his lifestyle, his habits, the way he carries himself in public and in private. He is consistent, and consistency is rare. Anybody can impress for a week, anybody can pretend for a few months, but a man of true character, he remains unshaken year after year. That's what makes her look at him differently. That's what separates him from the rest. Think about this carefully. Every time you allow disrespect to slide, every time you let yourself be used, every time you accept behavior you know is beneath you, you teach her that you don't value yourself. And if you don't value yourself, why should she? The respect she gives is a mirror of the standards you enforce. If you let her talk to you any way she wants, if you accept constant mood swings without balance, if you keep coming back after being disrespected, then don't be surprised when the respect is gone. And let me tell you something most men don't want to hear. Love without respect means nothing. You can have a woman who says, "I love you," who stays with you, but if she doesn't respect you, that relationship will drain you. It will suffocate you. It will strip you of your masculinity. Because a woman might love your kindness, your affection, your loyalty, but if she doesn't respect your strength, she will never admire you. And admiration is the foundation of true attraction. This is why the kind of man women respect is not the one who just provides money or attention or gifts. Those things can attract her, yes, but they cannot hold her respect. Respect Respect comes from who you are when everything else is stripped away. Who are you when she challenges you? Who are you when she says no? Who are you when life throws obstacles in your path? That's when your true character reveals itself. And that's when she decides, does this man deserve my respect or not? And here's another layer men often ignore. Respect is not built in grand gestures. It's built in the small, everyday things you do. It's built in the way you keep your word, even when no one is watching. It's built in the way you control your emotions when you're angry, the way you stay calm under pressure, the way you remain focused when distractions surround you. A woman is always observing these things. She's watching to see, can this man lead? Can this man protect? Can this man be trusted with more than just words? If the answer is yes, her respect grows. If the answer is no, it vanishes silently. And once it's gone, it almost never comes back. That's why the man women respect the most is the one who respects his own time. He doesn't give it freely to anyone who asks. He doesn't waste hours chasing attention. He values his energy, his goals, his growth. And because he respects himself, she cannot help but respect him. She knows she cannot just call him at any time. She knows she cannot just manipulate his emotions whenever she feels like it. And here's another layer men often ignore. Respect is not built in grand gestures. It's built in the small, everyday things you do. It's built in the way you keep your word, even when no one is watching. It's built in the way you control your emotions when you're angry, the way you stay calm under pressure, the way you remain focused when distractions surround you. A woman is always observing these things. She's watching to see, can this man lead? Can this man protect? Can this man be trusted with more than just words? If the answer is yes, her respect grows. If the answer is no, it vanishes silently, and once it's gone, it almost never comes back. That's why the man women respect the most is the one who respects his own time. He doesn't give it freely to anyone who asks. He doesn't waste hours chasing attention. He values his energy, his goals, his growth. And because he respects himself, she cannot help but respect him. She knows she cannot just call him at any time. She knows she cannot just manipulate his emotions whenever she feels like it. Boundaries create respect, and without boundaries, there is none. Now, understand this, respect does not mean fear. Too many men confuse the two. Fear might make someone obey you temporarily, but it never lasts. Fear breeds resentment. True respect, on the other hand, is admiration, trust, and acknowledgement of your strength. That's why women respect the man who is both firm and fair, strong but not cruel, disciplined yet compassionate. He does not abuse his power, but he never surrenders it either. And here's where most men ruin everything. They think respect is about controlling her, telling her what to do, restricting her every move. That's not respect. That's insecurity disguised as power. Real respect is when she chooses to follow you, when she willingly looks to you for guidance, when she admires your decisions, not because you forced her, but because you proved yourself capable. A man who tries to control everything is weak. A man who can stand firm without forcing, who can lead by example, that's the man she respects. Every time you step into weakness, begging for another chance, apologizing just to stop her anger, over-explaining your worth, you kill the respect she had for you. She may forgive, she may even stay, but the way she looks at you will never be the same. Respect, once lost, is almost impossible to fully regain. That's why you must guard it with your life. Never trade your dignity for temporary peace. Never trade your strength for approval. Because at the end of the day, women only respect this kind of man. The man who stands on his own 2 feet, unshaken, unbroken, unapologetically himself. The man who is not desperate for her validation, but so deeply committed to his purpose that she cannot help but admire him. So remember this, love may come and go, beauty may fade, passion may rise and fall, but respect is the foundation that holds everything together. Without respect, a relationship is empty. Without respect, your words mean nothing. Without respect, you are invisible. Women only respect the man who respects himself first, who refuses to trade his dignity for comfort, who chooses purpose over approval, and who stands so firm in his values that nothing can shake him. Be that man, and you will never need to chase respect. It will follow you, it will surround you, and it will define you. Because in the end, the only kind of man women truly respect is the man who refuses to live on his knees, the man who leads with strength, and the man who never forgets his worth.